If there exists a success story in changing yourself in an attempt to impress someone, I've never heard it. Unless that is if you count Grease, but I certainly don't, so let's move on. I've stated before how Rarity seems to desire a romantic partner with whom she can share her interests. With Simple Ways, we seem to be continuing that trend, but with the addition of attempting to bend and meet the interests of her crush. Trenderhoof, as his name might suggest, has a metaphorical finger on the pulse of rising trends along with a wide world of cultures in high society. Naturally, Rarity would be attracted to a man like this, as he would be someone that she could truly relate to and indulge a fantasy of sharing herself while doing what she loves. If anything, it's a step above the blue blood fantasy of merely being betrothed to royalty. Although I can only guess as to what someone like Trenderhoof saw in Applejack and how Rarity thought changing herself would be a good idea, the episode still did a great job of showing the most common problems of trying to change ourselves to impress someone else. In the short term, being inauthentic comes with the issue of looking inauthentic. More often than not, we end up caricaturing the personality archetype that we're trying to become and look ridiculous while doing it. From an outsider's perspective, this is what's truly unappealing about someone who changes themselves so much just to garner the attention of someone else, just like Rarity had said. Even if you succeed in the short term, the long term is another battle entirely. I've yet to meet someone who lives in an authenticity that enjoys being there. Putting on an act like that takes tons of energy and rarely leaves the actor satisfied with themselves. Ultimately, being miserable in having friends that would not stay by your side if you were to be your true self is just another form of loneliness. Furthermore, your facade will crack eventually. In the best case scenario, people will see the real you and be shocked by not only what they see, but by the revelation of your dishonesty. In the worst case scenario, you will simply crack and lose your sanity in the worst ways imaginable. In my life, and despite the amount of people that I know, I've had very little luck in social and romantic endeavors. Though the reasons are many and not all are my fault, a good number of the ones that are my fault are rooted in me trying to be something that I am not. I always ended up changing the wrong thing in the wrong way, or changing when it would have been better to stay as myself. Even when I have successfully changed, it was always a matter of time until it slipped and I became myself again. Every time, it ended with me having driven off the friends that I had just spent time struggling to make, as well as coping with the realization that it wasn't true friendship to begin with. I'm so glad that I know better nowadays. However, there is a catch to this lesson that wasn't discussed in the episode, and I feel the need to bring it to light. Changing yourself only applies to trying to become something that you're not. For example, a mild-mannered high socialite becoming a farmer. This does not mean that it is never necessary to make changes to make ourselves more attractive in general. There are a number of extremely detrimental personality traits that someone could have which will do nothing but cause problems in interpersonal relationships, more than I can even begin to list. Beyond that, when they become habitual or chronic in a person, then they're probably not anyone that you would want to be friends with or romantically involved with in the first place, especially if they are unrepentant with these habits. There is a difference between changing yourself to attract the wrong type of person and simply being the wrong type of person. There is a huge difference between seeking to better ourselves so that we are less likely to cause harm and tossing asunder our talents, ambitions, passion, and those things that make us who we are for the sake of shallow ulterior motives. We should not tolerate quote-unquote staying true to myself as an excuse for destructive behavior in others, and we especially shouldn't tolerate it in ourselves. Or, take me for example again. I can have a very high power level if I'm in my element, and I've been told that this can be off-putting to people, so I've needed to learn how to rein that in unless it's absolutely necessary. Again, this isn't being unfaithful to myself, it's just trying to make a good first impression and ease people into understanding about what I do and why I do it as they get to know me. It doesn't always work, but it's still better than the alternatives. In conclusion, Rarity learned that because of everything I mentioned previously, discarding who you are to impress someone else is never a good idea. But if we remain patient as the person that we are, don't take anyone who's not being true to themselves and try to be a good person, then perhaps we can do the same. From there, using patience combined with searching in the right places, I'm certain you'll find those that you're meant to be with. And that's the moral of the story. If you have a topic you would like to hear discussed, or if you have an episode, fanfiction, product, or anything else you would like to hear reviewed, send me a YouTube message or leave a comment below. You can also drop comments, questions, topic suggestions, and review suggestions by liking Brony Debates on Facebook, following on Twitter, or sending an email to bronydebates@yahoo.com. Have a great day, and I look forward to hearing from all of you soon.